Alright guys, welcome to the channel. I haven't uploaded in a while, but we're going to play automation. We're going to make a V6 sports car, and then we're going to test it and drive it in beam.ng drive today. Now, I haven't uploaded or even recorded a video in several years. This is my first time trying to be somewhat professional, so I'm on my computer. I'm currently doing a voiceover right now because my first audio recording got completely messed up. So if what I'm saying doesn't completely match up, that's why. I am recording the audio afterwards, except for a few parts and the end of this video where I did re-record it. So like I said, we're going to do a V6 car. No specific criteria or anything. So first, this is me. I'm scrolling through trying to find a body. I want something not too sporty, but nothing too boring, I guess. I don't have any specifics in mind, but I do end up finding one I did like. And it should be coming soon. I probably should trim this down a little bit more. I didn't realize how long it took me to find one. So we're going to get this 2005 coupe body. Now, when it comes to chassis material and ladder frame or the frame, chassis, whatever, I'm not that smart. I really don't know what I'm doing or what anything really means. So I'm going to go with a partial aluminum body here. Like I said, no specific reason. I'm not like some sort of genius. So yeah, we go partial aluminum here. Again, I don't know much about chassis. I think I just go with a monocoque frame here. Chassis, my bad. And then AHS steel, light AHS steel. And then the engine placement, I do front longitudinal because I do want to make it all-wheel drive. Front, we do double wishbone. Rear, push rod suspension. Why? No specific reason. I just like that setup. Now, again, for the engine, it's going to be an inline 6. So I ended up making it a 3.5. At first it was a 4.5, but I realized it was too big. Block material, I'm going to go aluminum billet. I said I make it a 4.5 at first, or maybe bigger. It might be like a 5 liter, but I realized it was too big, and I'll go back here in a minute. So for the heads and valves, do dual overhead cam, 5 valves. ALSI head material. Again, I don't really know what any of that means. So for the crank, I don't remember which one I go for. So we're gonna go for billet steel, and then forged heavy con rods, I know that. Yeah, I go for forged light at first, and then I go for forged heavy afterwards. I was trying to look to see what would get the most torque. But yeah, I just end up going forged heavy. And I go forged heavy on the pistons as well. Again, no specific reason for any of this, just messing around, trying to learn the game. And then I put a harmonic damper on there. I don't mess with any of this stuff at first. I just do VVT intake, RPM limit. I don't touch any of that. Like I said, I go back and tune it afterwards. I realize the engine is too big here, so I go back and I sized down the engine to a 3.5 liter. Again, because I want to make it all-wheel drive. So all-wheel drive 3.5 was just about the biggest you could have. Again, sorry for all the silences. Like I said, this is a after recording, like a voiceover, just because I messed up horribly setting up my microphone in OBS. But my next video should be a whole lot better, and I'll be getting a microphone stand, so I'll be able to put the microphone closer. So anyway, we go with a injection. We do multi-point EFI per cylinder, and then I go performance mid manifold. Change it to 90 AKI feel. Again, I don't touch any of the other sliders just yet. I go back and tune it after I choose all I want. I do cast mid. I do tubular mid here. And then we're going to go no catalytic converter. Oh, never mind. We did a three-way. Three-way. And then no first muffler, and then straight through second muffler. And straight off the back, it's already making 286 horsepower. Now, I think I was targeting 400, which I didn't quite make when I went through and tuned it. And again, I don't really know what I'm doing engine-wise here. I'm kind of just moving sliders, and if the number goes up, I keep moving. If it goes down, I go back. I mean, I know, like, to some extent, I know what relation they do to have to each other. Like I said, I do know a little bit about engines, but not very much. So I speed through this because it takes me a while. You know, just adjusting all the stuff. Like I said, I'm not new to automation, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I always just mess around. And I often use the AI tune, which I know isn't the best, but I more use automation to make cars more than just the engines. So I go through, I'm already making 360 horsepower here. Let's think by the end of it, I do end up making, it was 376 horsepower total, which isn't bad for a V6. So we've got to the end. I got it to get to 376 horsepower and 337 foot-pounds of torque, I think that says. I'm sorry, I can't really see that well. Yeah, 337. I'm going to insert a clip here of the audio. Like I said, I messed up the OBS recording. So here's a recording of the actual sound. Alright guys, we're back in the game. I'm coming back since my my recording got messed up with the audio. I'm sure I explained that in my voiceover. But I wanted you guys to be able to hear the engine, so I'm going to paste in this clip. Now, personally, I think that sounds pretty good, but we're going to do the gearing and whatnot now. So we're going to do all-wheel drive advanced, and then we're going to do dual clutch, 8 gears. I don't know, I like dual clutch. So the gearing setup, we'll come back to that. We're going to do clutch race LSD. Also, again, sorry for the awkward silences and whatnot here. This is a voiceover. I'm recording this for like the 4th time. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. So, radial tires. I'm going to do sports compound. We're not going to mess with the width or any of the parameters right now. We're going to do carbon ceramic. Like, I always do my brakes really strong. I don't know why. It's just how I like to do them, so I know they work. We'll bump those up. Carbon ceramic, 6 piston, 14 inch. And then on the rears, we'll do carbon ceramic, 4 piston, and then 12 inch. And then we're going to change the pad type closer to race, put it at 70, plus 5 quality. And then we're going to do a race diffuser, no cooling flaps. We're going to leave all the wing angles and the cooling airflow alone. We're going to change the brake flow to 20, even though realistically I don't need to because they're so overpowered. Quality, we'll put that at 4. We're going to make no rear seats, so it's just a 2-seater, so lose a little bit of weight. We're going to do premium. And then we're going to do just a standard infotainment. And then we're going to do manual rack and pinion for steering, and then ESC and launch control. And then we're going to go just standard 10s. I don't care about the safety. Weight distribution, we're going to put that more towards the rear because I do like a little bit of a rear bias on my cars. We're going to go progressive springs. And then we're going to do gas monotube for the dampers. Sway bars are going to be passive. And already our steering, our drivability and sportiness, almost like exactly where I want it. So we're going to set the preset to sport. Doesn't really change it much. 95% drivability, 98% sportiness, pretty damn good. And then we're going to go over, bring the quality up, of course. Toggle the visibility. We're going to take a, if I was going to take a look at it. So we're going to read any of the issues. So I see that the gearing is the short gearing. Because of whenever we forgot to go back and do the gearing after I had it all set up. So the top speed was set to 161 miles an hour, where this car, I ended up setting it to be 208 miles an hour, which ended up being, the most you could get out of it. See, I keep going up. I realized I went too far. I had to go back. And then, so I do a clutch to race. Oh, I already went over that. I'm sorry, I'm tired. So we change the first gear to 30 miles an hour. It takes a little bit, I'm sorry. And then we're going to change the spread to 40. Because I do like a little bit more acceleration. We're not going to mess with any of the other settings. But I do click through. Okay, we bump up the quality. But otherwise, I just click through to make sure everything's okay looking. Which actually, I toggle the visibility here. I noticed the rear rims need to be widened out a little bit. Same thing with the front, but not as much. So we do that. And then I realized, the rims would look a little bit better if they were 18 inches instead of 17. So we bump that up. We take a hit in drivability and sportiness, but it's alright. And then we also decrease the tire the width, which still also take another hit. But the steering for slow and fast, like those graphs are like nearly spot on. So we go back. I'm not sure what I'm going back for. Oh, and then here I realize the rear is way too high compared to the front. I like my cars to be even and level. So I'll take it over to the fixtures, where if you don't know, you can do advanced trim settings. You can adjust all kinds of stuff here. And I'm going to lower the rear ride height so it's equal to the front, or at least as equal as I can get it. Just go through and making sure everything's okay. Change the wheels to alloy, and then we're going to change the quality to +4, I think. That's usually what I set it to. Yep, +4. And all this looks okay. We're going to leave it. All that looks good. Again, looking at the suggestions, seeing if anything I really need to change, which there's not. So I'll go through. Performance. I'll read through those numbers if you can read them. And we don't do the automation test track because we're about to do that in the next clip. We're going to bring up the poster. So the top speed, 208 miles an hour. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, I think it's like 3.24. Sorry, it's hard for me to read this. It's an 8-speed dual clutch, 18.9 miles per gallon, which is really good. It's 2,877 pounds, so it's almost 3,000 pounds. It's alright. It's a 2,500 cc inline 6, making 376.1 horsepower and 337.3 foot-pounds of torque. A few other things: 2 doors, 2 seats, naturally aspirated. Sorry, this goes on a little longer than it should. I should have edited it down, but I didn't realize that it's a little too late for that. So we're going to close this out. And then we're going to export this car. So we're going to take it to beam.ng. I'm going to drive it around, like I said, automation test track. We're going to see how it handles. If I need to, we'll come back here and edit it, which, spoiler alert, we didn't need to edit it. It drove nearly perfectly. I loved the way this car drove. So we're just letting it spin around, get a good look. Now we're exporting it. This takes a little bit. I always hate exporting cars to Beam because half the times they work, half the time they don't. Or you have to come back and adjust something. Luckily, this car, first try, was just perfect. There's a few things I might go back and tweak. Alright guys, we are now in beam.ng Drive. I'm having to re-record this part because I did mess up the audio, as I did say in the voiceover. So hopefully this sounds pretty good, so I don't have to do a voiceover on it. But I wanted to redo this part because I wanted y'all to hear the car and get my reactions as I'm driving it. So we are going to take the car first to automation test track, and we are going to do a lap. If it needs any tweaking, we'll take it back and tweak it. And then we'll take it to West Coast and drive with some traffic just to show off the car a little bit. So we are going to, first of all, we're going to get rid of this car. And sorry if the audio is bad. You're probably going to hear my wheel because I do play Beam on wheel. But it shouldn't be too bad. So here's the car. Tail lights don't look that great in beam. They never do. Car is low. I might have made it a little low in the rear. I mean, I think it turned out pretty good. So the engine, it backfires a little bit. Sounds good. So we're gonna take it around the track, which, you know, show how it handles. Which I am not a good sim driver. I will state that right now. I am not good at driving in this game, any racing game, even with a wheel. But I can tell you, this car, it feels pretty good. Brakes, a little strong, but as I might have stated, I always make the brakes really strong. That's how I just prefer my brakes. But cornering feels good, acceleration feels good. And like I said, I'm not the best driver. I could probably be taking these a little quicker. But one issue this car does have, if you notice, when I turn, the body sparks against the ground, which means it's cutting into the ground a little bit, which means it's a little low, and that will affect handling in beam.ng. I'm not sure how fast I got there, but when I did it earlier, I got to 150 on that straight. So it's a pretty quick car, especially for a V6. Like I said, I'm taking this slow because I'm not like the absolute best driver. Almost went off there a little bit, but it's alright. Again, the car actually feels really good. The brakes are kind of iffy, but again, that's my issue. This corner, I went off a little bit there. This corner, be quick. Drive pretty good. Being nearing the end of the track now, which is right here. I must say it handles pretty good, especially for a car I made myself. Again, I'm not perfect at automation. I'm not good at sim racing. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I think I made a decent car here. And like I said, I'm new. I mean, I'm not new to automation, but I usually just mess around with automation. I've never really learned it, if that makes sense. Alright, so we're going to throw on AI. We'll put in police. And then as soon as that loads up, we'll drive around, see how it handles. So see how it takes this jump here. And not great, but I was able to control it. Again, not great, a little stiff. It hit that curve, but I don't think I missed anything. Right here. I can't drive. I didn't need to reset it all the way back here. drive in this game. It's right behind me. Okay. I'm not sure it stalls when it starts, but I think it's fine. Acceleration is pretty good. This car right here. Sneak on past. I'm gonna take this over to the drag strip. And we'll see how it does. And we'll start it. There we go. Okay, that was a bad start. That was a bad start for me. Alright, we failed it, but 0 to 60 time was 2.134. Our time was it was a 12-second quarter mile. Not the best, not the worst. Again, my takeoff was pretty bad, but you know what? I think that should be all for this video. Enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe. Like I said, leave any comments or any suggestions down below. Like I said, I'm kind of new to YouTube. At least recently, I'm new. I used to upload, like I said, you know, mobile games when I was younger on this channel. But that'll be all from me. I will see you guys next time.